moment and think about this time when you felt confident. And write it down. It doesn't have to be school related, doesn't have to be work related. It could be something that happened in your everyday life with your friends, with your family, a moment where you felt great. You were in the zone. You were crushing it. How do we bottle up this feeling so that we have it whenever we don't feel confident? I made courageous connections. I unleashed my strengths, and I leveled up my story. And when you do these 3 things, you too can choose confidence and change the game. Let's get started. The first step I took was I sparked a courageous connection. So after those rejections, I reached out to an assistant editor at Washingtonian magazine, and I asked her for an informational interview. I wanted to learn how she got to where she was in her career, because this was the dream career that I had for myself. And what do you know? She said yes. This was the magazine that had rejected me, which just goes to show that that rejection wasn't personal. In that 15-minute informational interview, I learned that she got her start by writing for her campus magazine. And I hadn't even thought to do that. Most of us set out to chase our dreams all by ourselves. Look, I know that solo travel is where it's at, but your career journey is not a solo journey. There are people out there who have the blueprint. They've been there before in your shoes, and they know how to get to where you want to go. And believe it or not, they want to help you. That you are willing to do the thing that most people are simply unwilling to do. You are now ready to unleash your strengths. Don't wait for permission. You can start unleashing your strengths too. You can join clubs and organizations and start building up your experience and you're qualified. You can volunteer. You can side hustle. You can intern. You can start your own business. You can go on meetup.com, and I bet you that you can find an organization out there that's meeting that aligns with your interests, strengths, and values, where you can start unleashing your strengths and building your story. You have unleashed your strengths. You've claimed your strengths. You are now more than ready to level up your story. Now, who here has heard this question before? The dreaded, tell me about yourself. Who here loves this question? Who here loathes this question? Yeah, it's a lot of hands. Yeah. Now, there are 2 ways I could answer this. The first story I might say is, I'm Amanda, and I'm the publisher of College Magazine. Another way I might tell this story is, I created and launched a magazine that would help students be successful in school. I had this big idea, and I went around with a mock-up of my magazine and sold ads to the local businesses, and was able to raise enough money to print the first 5,000 copies at my alma mater, the University of Maryland. Then I hustled like crazy, and I expanded to 14 campuses on the East Coast. Today, College Magazine reaches millions of readers nationwide. I've had the opportunity to work with national brands like Vitamin Water and Princeton Review. And the most rewarding part is working with student writers. I have a writer training program that helps aspiring journalists improve their writing skills. And I love getting to see my students go off into their dream careers, many of which are at National Geographic, NBC, Us Weekly, USA Today, and more. I am passionate about helping students and young professionals choose confidence. Now, what did you notice about those 2 stories? You know, the first story was just like a title. So how I'm defining myself by my title, but the second story is telling you all the work that went into it, all the actions that I took, the journey to achieving that role. So it was more captivating. People are drawn to that type of story, right? Where you're sharing the journey and you're sharing your why, and you're talking about the actions that you took, and you're sharing something you're passionate about. We lean into those stories. And especially when you're making a courageous connection, when people hear your story, your leveled up story, people are going to gravitate to your story. They're going to see a little bit of themselves in you, and they're going to want to help you succeed.